In front of his door, this guy discovered an abandoned newborn moose that appeared to be in need of assistance. You may be surprised by what he did to her. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. If you are fortunate enough to witness one in person, moose are amazing animals that are enormous, stunning, and a sight to behold. However, they aren't typically the kinds of creatures you would see in your backyard. Ericus Plucas was therefore surprised to discover one sitting outside his gate when he got home. The narrative took place in a tiny Lithuanian village back in 2016. Ericus had woken up much like every other day. After waking up, he made the decision to perform some town tasks. Ericus went home after working outside for a few hours to finish his tasks. However, things took an odd turn when he got home. Ericus saw a big item resting in front of the gate as he walked up to his front door. The man recognized it as a newborn moose as he drew nearer. However, the animal's condition wasn't the best. "It was devastating to see her for the first time," Ericus remarked in an interview. "She was depressed, filthy, and starving. When she first saw me, she was so afraid of me that her fur was covered with flies, yet she was too weak to flee or even get up." Although the young moose didn't seem well, it was still unclear where she had come from and where her mother had gone. It would be rare for a mother moose to not be nearby to watch over her offspring, as these animals are often fiercely protective of their young. And just where had she disappeared to? Ericus, however, had a theory as to what may have transpired, and it was not a pleasant one. The guy surmised that the poor little animal was alone, scared, and in risk of famine because its mother had probably been shot by hunters. He surmised that the infant had fled as soon as the hunters opened fire and had sought cover in the closest area. Ericus was unsure of what to do with the baby animal at first. Having never had to take care of an animal like a moose before, he didn't know where to begin in order to ensure the animal was okay. First, he made the decision to give a local animal shelter a call and explain the circumstances. Sadly, they offered little assistance beyond telling Ericus to leave the baby moose alone and promising to send someone out the next day to investigate the problem. Fearing for the health of the young moose, Ericus brought it inside his barn for the night, fed it some milk and leaves, and then retired to his own bed. When a few volunteers from the nearby animal shelter showed up the following day, it was not with good news. After examining the moose, the volunteers informed Ericus that summoning some nearby hunters to end the animal's suffering was the only thing they could do for it. They thought it would be more compassionate to ensure the little animal didn't suffer because she wouldn't last long without her mother. The good-hearted father understood that he couldn't just do that to the poor kid and leave her on her own, in spite of what the shelter told him. He attempted to get advice from a couple of his friends by giving them a call, but they were just as unsure of what to do for the moose as he was. Ericus retained the baby moose and brought her inside his house, since that was the only thing he could think of to do. When he realized the animal was a female, he gave her the name Emma. Ericus, though, needed to pick up some rapid knowledge about this new addition to his house. He had to determine what to feed the newborn, how often to feed her, and what other supplies or attention she would require. Ericus did some online research and found that Emma would require feedings every 4 hours, which is how her mother would have fed her if she were still alive. He quickly developed a schedule with the baby moose and was always available to feed her every few hours. In order to make sure the little animal felt secure and well cared for, as well as to be there in case of an emergency, the generous guy would frequently sleep next to her in the barn or outside. Emma would cheerfully accept the arrangement and give Ericus a hug, behaving as though she were with her mother. Ericus started filling in additional responsibilities that would have been assigned to the mother moose as the young ones grew larger. In order to acclimate Emma to her natural surroundings, he started taking her on daily excursions in the woods for extended periods of time. When the little animal became afraid of the other woodland creatures, Ericus would reassure her and show her where to obtain food while they were out together. Ericus remarked, "She was afraid of everything but me." Emma eventually overcame her dread of the outdoors and grew to a size and strength appropriate for being let back into the forest. The narrative didn't end there, though, even when the animal returned to her native environment. Ericus had taken on the role of Emma's surrogate mother, so much so that the mature moose began returning to see the king guy. Ericus was both surprised and relieved that she hadn't forgotten about the animal when he returned for the first time. Ericus used to give her some snacks every time she visited the man's house. Emma was far more adept in swimming than Ericus, yet they still enjoyed playing together and even went for lake swims together most days. Given Ericus's deep concern for his adopted moose kid, he realized he needed to take action against the hunters to prevent her from becoming like her mother. The animal lover made the decision to talk with the local hunters and decided to invite them all for dinner one evening. He filled them in on everything about Emma and their unique relationship. He gave the hunters an explanation of how he had nurtured the moose from a newborn after she had lost her mother, and he pleaded with them not to harm Emma in any way so that she may continue to live her life to the fullest. The hunters were all moved after hearing the man's appeals and the narrative. Because of Emma's narrative, they decided to leave her alone, and a few of the guys even chose to give up hunting completely. Ericus remarked, "I'm her world now, and she's mine. Sometimes I wonder, was it me who saved her, or is it the other way around?" Emma has developed into a mature adult moose over time. However, she prepared a surprise for Ericus when she last saw him. Emma was noticeably larger than usual, and the nice guy started to worry that she could be expecting her own child. Ericus was overjoyed to learn this and looked forward to having a young moose around the house once more. And in case Emma needed assistance with parenting her child, he was well versed in all the tips and tactics. Emma was given a second shot in life by this incredible and unselfish guy, and she has even used it to bring in a new generation of moose, one that perhaps will carry with the practice of visiting Ericus. She really upended my life. I became a mother to a moose because I was a guy. I never would have imagined that I would encounter something so incredible in a million years. Ericus expressed her gratitude for the chance and her deep admiration for nature. And he's quite happy with the way everything worked out in the end. What a fantastic tale. This tale shows us that close relationships may develop between humans and even wild animals. If you came upon a wild moose, how would you respond? Do you think you could get that close? Please share your thoughts on this video in the comments section below. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.